This video explains how to fill out a score sheet for a basketball game. So the first thing that you're going to want to do is fill out the rosters for each of the teams. So on the top is the home team, you'll write the name of the team, and then on the bottom is the guest team, you'll write the name of their team, and then you'll fill out the rosters in this space here. Usually you can give it to the coaches and they'll do this for you, or they'll have a list ready for you and then you can fill it out on your own. When filling out the rosters, you just want to make sure you put their name and their number, and then you should be good to go. I would say the most important part of the whole score sheet is keeping track of the running score for each team. So this top score here is where you'd put the home team score, and the bottom row here is where you would put the away team score. Let's say Vivian Smith scores. What you're going to do first is mark off her basket on the team score, and then you'll go mark it next to her name and her individual score. Make sure that you pay attention that there's a column for each quarter. This would be the first quarter points, second, third, and fourth. Like I mentioned, the most important part is the team score first and then the individual score. So again, let's say Helen Kai scored. You're going to mark it on her team first, and then after that you'll mark her individual points. Just remember you have to pay attention to the column it is for what quarter it is, so make sure you move each quarter when you're filling in the points. So let's say Jeff Roberts scores a basket, but it's in the second quarter. Mark 2 down here, find the second quarter across from his name and write a 2. Since foul shots are only worth 1 point, you're going to find whoever's name is shooting the foul shot. Let's say it's Brian, and you're just going to mark a 1 if he makes 1 and 2 if he makes both. Then you also have to write it down with the team score. I probably should have done this first before I marked his points individually. Here's another example. If somebody only hits 1 foul shot, you would mark it down, and then you would just put a 1. Now, if somebody fouls, you're going to find their name. Let's say Kelly Jones fouls. You're going to check it off in their personal fouls, and then go down and find the team fouls for the quarter and check it off there. Similar to the score, you need to make sure you pay attention when the quarter changes. So from first to second, second to third, third to fourth, make sure you change where you're writing their fouls in terms of team fouls. The team fouls are important to be able to tell once you reach bonus. So there's only 4 squares. So let's say you get up to 4 fouls, and then somebody gets the 5th team foul of the quarter. That allows you to be able to tell it's bonus, and you're going to have to let the refs know. No more squares to check means bonus. I've gone ahead and filled out the score sheet, kind of what it would look like by the end of the game. The only thing I haven't talked about is timeouts. So basically it's pretty simple. If a coach calls a timeout, all you have to do is check it in the box, whether it's in the first half or the second half. So they get 2 in the first half and 3 in the second half. So once they call a timeout, you just give it a check. This allows you to keep track of if they have a timeout left or not. Just a reminder, if you have to check off all 5 fouls for somebody, you have to let the ref know because they'll be fouled out of the game. Once the game is over, you're going to add up the total points for each team and write them in the box. So the total points for the top team, as you can see, is 60. So once you count those, you can write the score right there. Same for the guest team, 54. Something that's helpful to do at the end of the game is just write the final score at the top of the sheet and circle it so that it's easy for others to see when they look at it. Something that you can do at the end of the game, if you have time, is to add up all of the individual scores and make sure it equals the total score you have for their team. So you can count out the amount of points each person has. So this first player had 5, the next player had 2, and you would just write that for both teams for all the players. When you're finished, all of the individual scores should add up to the team's final score at the bottom, as you can see here. This last part here is for free throws, and it's kind of an extra part that you don't really have to fill out since you already put down 1s throughout the whole score sheet, so you can already tell for free throws, so you don't need to fill this out if you don't want to, but if you want to, you can as well. Something else that's not super important, but you can do at the end of the game, is add up the points for every quarter, so you can see first quarter here, second, third, and fourth. You can fill that out with the total score from that quarter. Something that I didn't mention was just every time you write down a number when somebody scores, it's just the value of the basket. So it's a foul shot 1, a basket 2, or a 3-pointer 3. Okay, so that's pretty much it. The first thing that you're going to want to do as a reminder is fill out the rosters for each of the two teams, and then the most important part is just the running score for each team here. So you'll mark off somebody's basket there, and then you'll go write it in their individual spot. As for fouls, you're going to want to check off their individual box for fouls and then add it to the team fouls as well. Next is the timeouts. If a coach calls a timeout, all you got to do is check it off where the timeouts are per half. Once the game is over, you're going to look at your tallied score for each team, and you're going to fill in the box for each of the two teams, and then you're going to count the individual scores for every single player and write those there so you can tell how many points every player scored, and that should equal the same amount as the final score for each team. Once you're done all of this, you can just write the score at the top of the sheet, circle it, and you're good to go.